Angel Reese, she continued her long-standing tradition last night of not selling out home games.
Did you see what just happened with Angel Reese? She finally secured her first WNBA win in a matchup against Paige Bueckers, a rising star that some argue should be the league's top attraction over Caitlyn Clark, with two of the most talked about. Players in women's basketball sharing the court, you'd expect a packed arena and a charged atmosphere. But that wasn't the case. The crowd was sparse, tickets dipped as low as $20, and only 41 were sold in the final hour before tip-off. Despite all the online buzz, the in-person energy was lacking. It begs the question, where are the fans? The growing gap between social, media hype and real-world support is becoming hard to ignore.
Paige Bueckers is coming to town. Shout out to Santa Claus. Paige Bueckers is, you guys get it. And in their first matchup, they draw a whopping 9,025 people. Where are you guys at? Where are you guys? Where are the Paige Bueckers supporters? Where are the WNBA supporters? Where are the Reese's Pieces? Where are you guys at?
Meanwhile, ESPN continues to promote Angel Reese as the face of the league, largely based on her social media following. But when it comes to filling arenas and driving national interest, it's getting harder to deny that Caitlyn Clark is the true catalyst behind the WNBA's rising momentum.
Who has the most TikTok followers? Ooh. Who has the most Twitter followers? Ooh. Who has the most Instagram? Who has the most this? Who has the most that? Who has the most viewership? Who has the most attendance? Who has the biggest impact on the game? We all know the answer to that question.
Let's dive into the game because what happened will absolutely blow your mind.
I mean, after all, this is the #1 most followed WNBA player on Instagram, followed by the #3 most followed WNBA player on Instagram. And last night, they were in the Wintrust Center, the Wintrust Arena, which holds a capacity of 10.
Angel Reese's latest performance came with high expectations. The matchup against the Dallas Wings had all the ingredients of a marquee event, held at Wintrust Arena, which seats nearly 10,000 fans. But here's the surprising part. It didn't sell out.
On a show. So when you see Angel Reese and Paige Bueckers locking horns for the first time in the WNBA, you would expect a sellout.
Yeah, you heard that right. One of the most hyped games of the season featured Angel Reese playing on her home court with a massive online following, going up against Paige Bueckers, another rising star with a loyal fan base. Yet somehow, a matchup that should have packed the arena left the stands looking uncomfortably empty.
This was a traumatic experience, but I was also confused as to why this game was being played at Wintrust Arena. Correct me if I'm wrong here. Paige Bueckers is a big star, right? According to the mainstream media.
Even with a reported attendance of 9,000, people are starting to question whether that number was legit. Why? Because during the entire broadcast, not once did the cameras pan out to show the crowd. Suspicious, right? And keep in mind, this wasn't some massive stadium. Wintrust Arena is actually one of the smallest venues in the state.
Now, according to the media, these are two of the biggest stars in the dump, but for some reason, this high-profile matchup was not moved to the United Center, which I believe is the largest arena in the NBA. With an event of this magnitude, you would think the WNBA would take advantage and move it to an arena that could accommodate an actual crowd. But for some reason, the diva of Dump Divas, Kat Engelbert, she decided to keep the game at Wintrust Arena.
And then there's the ticket sales. Oh boy, you're going to want to hear this.
30 minutes before tip-off last night, I checked StubHub to see how many tickets were available. As I pulled up the game, I was greeted by a nice message. Hey there, Angel Reese fan! I see you're interested in tickets. You better hurry. These tickets are hot, hot, hot. We have sold 41 tickets in the past hour. Get them while you can.
Tickets were going for as little as $20, but fans weren't exactly scrambling to grab them. Just 41 tickets, yes, only 41, were sold in the final hour before tip-off. And this was for a game featuring two of the most recognizable names in the league. Honestly, that's just embarrassing.
Nearly 1,000 tickets didn't get sold for this game. The #1 most followed WNBA player? Paige Becker is the most hyped WNBA player since last year? Very interesting how that works out.
It paints a stark contrast to the hype machine surrounding players like Reese and Bookers. Sure, their social media followings are massive. Reese is the most followed player in the WNBA, with Bookers not far behind. But here's the uncomfortable truth. Instagram likes and TikTok views aren't translating into real-life fans and seats. The supposed sellout never materialized, and when people inside the arena are whispering about how empty it feels, you know something's not adding up.
Reebok, shout out to Reebok, they go all out for your girl. Reebok already, we're going to make this Angel Reese's signature logo. They already have a couple PEs ready to go. They have her clothing line. Reebok's behind your girl. Reebok's pushing your girl out there. But how come it's not translating into attendance?
There's a clear disconnect between the hype and reality surrounding Angel Reese. Her social media following is massive, and the WNBA leans on that, along with partnerships like her deal with Reebok, as proof of the league's growth. But where's the real fan engagement? If she's truly such a major draw, why didn't the fans show up? The arena wasn't full, and the broadcast felt low budget for a supposedly marquee matchup. It lacked the energy you'd expect.
Ball. Now, as you can see, purple areas, these are the areas where tickets were still available. 30 minutes before the game, damn near the entire arena was up for sale. For less than $20, you could see these two legends in their own minds compete for the first time in the WNBA dunk.
Caitlyn Clark often gets compared to Reese in these discussions, and whether you like it or not, her absence is being felt across the board. Games without Clark just aren't pulling the same TV ratings or ticket sales, while the WNBA might highlight Reese's popularity. The reality is clear. It's Clark who's truly commanding the national spotlight.
Recognition doesn't always equate to ratings. Social media followers don't equate to attendance ratings. The Chicago Bravado, they have had 2 home games this year. 2 home games against what the media would call high-profile teams, the New York Equality and the Dallas Wankers. And neither game was a sellout. Matter of fact, both games had the exact same attendance number, 9,025. What are the odds of that? What are the odds that 2 back-to-back games have the exact same attendance number?
Let's be honest and say it loud. Something's fishy about how ticket sales are being reported. Maybe the numbers are being inflated just to boost Angel Reese's image. Caitlyn Clark's injury isn't just a setback for basketball fans. It's a major problem for the entire WNBA. Look around. Ticket sales are slipping, viewership is dropping, and games are missing the spark Clark always brings. It's not just Reese or Bueckers facing empty arenas. The whole league feels different without Clark's energy driving the buzz. Her absence is forcing the WNBA to face a harsh truth. They become way too dependent on one player to fill the seats.
The ratings came out for the Indiana Fever without Caitlyn Clark game. I saw some people actually trying to spin this as a positive, and I was like, they're light 235,000 viewers. How is that a positive?
To put it bluntly, Caitlyn Clark moves the needle every time she's on the court, making each moment feel crucial. Take the Fever versus Mystics matchup as an example. With Clark playing, the broadcast drew an impressive 581,000 viewers. Without her, the same matchup barely reached 357,000 viewers. That's a massive drop, and it shows even casual fans, those who don't follow the league regularly, tune in when Clark is playing. She's one of the rare players who makes a game feel like a true event. Now compare that to the Liberty versus Fever game, one of the highest-rated broadcasts the league has seen in years. Clark was on the floor, and the viewership peaked at 3.24 million.
We know now if Caitlyn Clark plays on Ion, it's a million-viewer game.
That's not just good, it's game-changing for the WNBA. It shows what's possible when you have a player who captures the imagination of fans, crosses demographics, and gives people a real reason to tune in. In contrast, games without Clark, like Sun vs. Lynx or Storm vs. Mercury, are struggling to hit average numbers. Sun vs. Lynx pulled in 431,000 viewers, while Storm vs. Mercury drew 344,000. Those figures might hold up in smaller markets, but as the league aims to grow, they fall short of what's needed to build lasting momentum.
Back on and play was happening. In fact, they showed back up, a play happened and there was a foul. And we showed back up as they were like readjusting themselves from a foul happening. So I don't know how much we actually missed, but you cannot have that if this league hopes to grow. You can't have productions coming back late to these games. Amazon Prime,